Hi there, my name is Janet Gershon-Siegel, and welcome to Semantic Shenanigans. This is a new podcast, and I am co-hosting it with my friend Shanna. So I'd like to start off with telling you about the podcast, but in particular, I want to start off with, first of all, who we are. I'm a retired attorney, and I currently work as a freelance blogger, and I'm a blog coordinator for a rather high-end wedding blog. My eclectic resume includes practicing law in New York, in the New York City and Long Island area in the 1980s. I attended Widener Law School, and before that, I attended Boston University. I also have over a decade of data analyst work for various financial services companies and insurers, and I also have an MS from Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, and it's in interactive media, which is basically a social media degree. So I'm essentially a social media marketer, and I'm also a published science fiction author, and I live in Boston with my husband. My co-host, Shanna, she is a PhD student in media and communications at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. This is where she also teaches, and her resume includes a stint as director and producer at ETV at Eastern Michigan State University in Ypsilanti. Now, a little bit about the podcast, because I know people really love it when I kind of go off the rails and I start swearing. And my Long Island accent really comes to the fore. But the truth is, we're looking for a more sedate and calm show. At least we're hoping for that. So essentially, the idea is that Semantic Shenanigans is intended to show the places where law, society, and scholarship kind of collide with fandom, where all these things come together. Because you may call us nerds or geeks or Trekkies or, whatever your categorization is of us or even of yourselves. Uh, the truth is, we live in nerd world, but we also live in real world. And, we're constantly moving back and forth between the two. And there's a lot of bridges between the two. For example, so let me give you a few examples of the kinds of things that we would be considering covering. So, for example, what does shipping mean? Shipping is when you put together two characters in a romantic relationship and it isn't necessarily canon. But what does shipping say about a fandom's relationship with the LGBTQ community? Because if this is a lot of slash shipping, does this mean that the fandom is very open and accepting of this? Or does it mean maybe that they're not, and people are sort of furtively typing away their fan fiction? It could be either. What happens if a cosplayer who is wearing a rather skimpy costume is assaulted and that's blamed as the reason why he or she was assaulted? Do films pass the Bechdel test, which is, and this can actually be stretched to cover television programs and even books. This is about the basic relationships between women in our media, and not necessarily dating or shipping kind of relationships. It's even just talking. Is an IP holder suing somebody for maybe copyright or trademark infringement? Are we seeing knockoff toys, for example? What's alpha nerding, which is where people are kind of saying, I was watching this show when you were in diapers, Sonny. It is kind of this one-upmanship in fandom. Who's a truer fan, a better fan? What happens when conventions implode? Maybe they run out of money or guests don't show up. What about fake geek girls, which is kind of the concept of that people are in a fandom and not necessarily for the purest of motivations? And also, can fans assert their rights to crowdfunding projects? Do they have any financial rights in there? And fandom isn't just science fiction. It isn't just books and movies and television. People are fans of music and musical groups. They're also fans of sports teams. And of course, we're fans of other genres. So consider there's a lot of ways that this can go and a lot of ways that this can be expanded. But this hopefully gives you kind of a general overview of what we're talking about here. So basically, that's our beat, as it were. And so on behalf of Shanna and myself, I'd like to thank you again for listening and watching. And we'll see you around at Semantic Shenanigans. So bye-bye for now. Thanks.